Who is they?
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are tuning in from Philadelphia Real Estate Investors Association. We are excited to have you. Now, those of you guys are tuning in early, y'all get the special treat because Nick Tang has never done this before, but this is our session to dive in one-on-one free coaching, all right, for the next 10 to 12 minutes. Yeah. So if you have any questions at all, anything real estate related, specifically in the Philadelphia or surrounding areas, put them in the comment section. We ready to jump in with you. And we got Nick and Sean here. Gentlemen, how y'all feeling today?
I feel great.
Yeah, on fire, man.
I feel great.
So Sean, you gotta let us know when the questions come in, because I don't see any of the questions.
All right, okay, I got you.
Perfect. All right, by the way, for those of you guys who are just now tuning in, all right, make sure you guys post your questions. We are doing a little quick Q&A session with the one and only Nick Tang. Hit the like and share button. All right, here we go. We've got some questions rolling in. Put up your questions. Do you need a realtor license to wholesale real estate? I think this is from Joe, the attorney.
No, he didn't say, that was not in question form. He said, you don't need a realtor. You need Joseph John counsel. That's true. I agree with that. That was the question.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You still wholesale in Philadelphia. That's a great question. I don't think anything's in terms of how you wholesale is going to be different. But in terms of can you wholesale? Yeah, absolutely. You can always wholesale. You know what? I think if Joe's available, we can probably invite him on to answer. Because
Joe, you on here?
Yeah, Joe. Is Joe on here? Because if he is, let me send him the invite on Facebook.
I don't even know if that was him because it says Facebook user. I don't have a name.
Let me look.
But Joe, if you're on here, let's bring you in for a few minutes here. Guys, we got 10 minutes with Nick Tang. So whatever questions you guys have, let's post them. They can be anything real estate related. Please ask your best, ask your favorite, ask whatever questions on your mind right now. We definitely want to get that answered. So use the comment section as our networking area. Post your questions there. Let's get these questions rolling.
We got Bronx, New York in the house.
Bronx, New York. Are you pulling that up from your phone, Sean?
No. I'm just adding this to my story a little bit that I went live because I added that I was going to be on here. So I want to let them know that we live, guys.
We live.
One-on-one questionnaire.
Yeah. This is very new too, so I love it.
I just invited Joe on, so hopefully he'll jump on in the next few minutes.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, for me, to what I'm aware of, it's you got to get your realtor's license to wholesale, and if that's the case, then that's the case. I don't really see that as a obstacle. I think there's the laws that exist, and I think it exists to make things more clean. And there's two ways to play with it. One is to adopt whatever they're saying to do, and until you figure out how to kind of not need to go that way, just adopt that way, and then slowly, one of us or some lawyers out there or whoever's is really trying to figure it out is going to figure out a way to work around it. And then once that workaround exists, then use it. But other than that, I think the big problem that I see is when a new law does come in, for the people, the only people that's really it's hard for are people that they don't understand the business to begin with, and because of that, they can't adapt. Okay, but the reality is there's always a workaround. Yeah, there's a comment here. You can do back-to-back closings. You can buy and resell. You can the assignments strategy. It's if anything, it's not going anywhere. It's just it has to be done differently. That's really all it is. And I invited Joe on if he is available, he'll jump on to answer it in more legal terms, legal matter, because he's a lawyer. And I'm pretty sure he's been asked by many people the same question already.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't taken effect yet, right? Right, Sean?
No,
with it yet, right?
Next month, February, is what I recently heard, there was actually a Zoom live stream between Lexi from Prosperity Abstract, the title company, and her husband Kirk. And then they also had a lawyer on the call too, kind of breaking it down and answering different scenarios. I actually have a Cliff Notes version of that phone.
So what was the verdict? What was the final like answer to it?
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, but like, is there a workaround? What's the procedure?
You know what I got out of it is they're really looking to protect the consumer.
Yeah.
And now they want to actually give you like another type of like paperwork in between, where it's like a 3-day right of recession. So you give them the agreement, but you have to give them 3 days until they decide to want to proceed with it, which is something that Lexi brought up, was like, if they don't really understand the agreement and you have them sign a whole nother piece of paper of authorization, it's just like paperwork on top of paperwork. But it's really in place to protect you as a wholesaler and what you do going forward.
Right. Does the agreement require you to disclose the wholesale fee? Because I heard that was going around as well.
In the disclosure, I don't know entirely what it is and who's going to make it up. So I'm anxious as well. I'm not sure if it's going to say blatantly like, hey, I am going to go and make X amount. I'm not sure what it details entirely, but I know that from the time you give them the agreement, there's that 3-day right of recession where they contemplate it or not.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been personally on top of that law. I think a good session for us would be, if Joe doesn't make it on, is to maybe invite like 3 lawyers that are very familiar with the subject, and then we can just pound it out like sometime this month. Maybe that could be like the follow-up event for this event. But yeah, like as for me, I always felt like whatever disclosures I got to do, I don't have a problem doing it. For me, I always tell my sellers like, hey guys, like, I'm buying your house and I'm gonna either personally buy it or I'm gonna flip it. And so if I buy it, I buy it. But if I don't, I'm gonna flip it. And when I flip it, I'm gonna make some money. And depending on how big that flip is, like if it's bigger than or more than what I'm buying the property for, then chances are I'm probably gonna buy it and resell it.
Right.
Versus, oh yeah, I have your house in the contract for $25,000, but I'm gonna do an assignment for $50,000.
So in that scenario, right, a good question popped up during that seminar or that Zoom call, where say if something were to go into a legal aspect, right, where you have to in front of the judge. The lawyer was saying, well, if you buy it first and then flip it after, it still is considered a wholesale, a quick flip. Because when they look at the time frame, like if you buy something and then a week later sell it, they're saying, under what grounds did you do to make an investment? Like say 3 months went by, they're like, okay, the market changed, and I could see that you might have waited a little bit. But if it's like a week, then like there wasn't really nothing in play for you to consider that.
So this is really lawsuits. This is really a seller's lawsuit against wholesalers, right? I'm guessing what they're feeling is that what they
actually have it here in a shorter version of what it in details for the seller. So after this policy is in effect, you must provide a disclosure to every seller that explain their rights to consult with an attorney, broker, or visit the OPA website to obtain true value of their property. After disclosing, you have to wait 3 days to send an AOS for them to sign. If the dates don't reflect this, you could face serious repercussions. The city will release a template of what the disclosure should look like. It should be coming up soon because they projected February. But
yeah, no, I get it. Like, so it doesn't sound like it's anything crazy. I think, like I said earlier, it's really made to protect, and I agree with you because you said it too. It's really made to protect us as the wholesaler, more than anybody, right? And so, based on what I'm hearing, is that a bunch of wholesalers or a bunch of sellers feel like they were taken advantage of because they sold their property for X price, and then they realized that they didn't have to sell it for that much, right?
Right.
And And but what's missing here is motivation, right? Like what's missing here is, hey, there are sellers that we meet where they're like, Nick, I need to get out right now, or I'm going through some sort of problem.
The city work.
Yeah, and speed is the factor here, right? And you're like, well, how much do you want? You know, and they're like, I want 25,000, and then you're like, well, I can't buy it for 25,000 if you need me to move it that fast. Why don't you listen to a lawyer, or I mean a realtor? Because for me, when I meet with sellers, or even when I talk to sellers on the phone, my first few questions are, one, why are you selling? Two, have you tried to sell it with a realtor? And three, did you try to sell it to any of your friends or work with your friends to try to help you solve this problem? Because for me, like working with me is a game of speed. Working with everybody else is a game of price.
Right.
You know, and
actually,
and so it's kind of like interesting. So I guess a way to protect me as an investor, in terms of the game of speed, is you know, I would get an appraisal done or some sort, or I would get them to do an appraisal, and I would tell them, look, hey, this is the appraisal. This is what your property's worth. Can you signature it? We got to get a lawyer on this because this is a cool call.
yeah.
But you know what? I mean, in the next few minutes, I'm surprised no one else is on. Is there anyone else?
No, they are. You want me to bring them in?
Yeah, bring them in.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I like it a lot because you know, it was like fair game, like the Wild Wild West and wholesaling. So now
Sean, there's feedback on one of somebody's mic, guys. Like because we just added somebody, and we just added two more, and I think the speaker is so loud that it's coming through the microphone.
It's Stephanie here.
Stephanie, you think it's you?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah. But there's an echo.
It stops when she goes away.
Yeah, you stop. Okay, it's you, Stephanie, because I think your mic is close to the speaker.
It sounds good now. No, it doesn't. Take that back.
No, yeah, we didn't talk.
Are y'all good now? Is it okay?
Hello?
Yeah, is it okay or no?
Well, it's not a problem when you talk. It's a problem when we talk. Hello? Is it good, guys?
It sounds better now.
It's good?
I think so.
Okay.
Audience, let us know. Can you guys hear loud and clear? Is there any extra sounds that you guys pick up? Put it down in the comment section. Let me know if this sounds clear, yes, or not clear, no, in terms of the feedback.
Because I hear y'all good, but if I have to switch to my phone, I will.
I think we're clean now. I think we're good.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I wanted to be able to see the Facebook comments, so I had like both of the screens up.
You gotta log in.
Okay.
Yeah, if you log in on the right corner, then you can see the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming on. Elijah, do the intros real quick, and then I would ask everybody to finish the conversation. And then we'll get into the first question.
Sean, do you want to handle intros or no?
I like the outro.
All right, not a problem. Guys, real quick, let's lock in. Let's tune in. Take a second. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice how your mind's feeling. Let me know if you are excited, if you are pumped up for today's event. This is Philadelphia Real Estate Investors Association. We are bringing you some of the most local, some of the biggest hustlers in Philadelphia. We're going to be diving into the topic of wholesaling in the Philadelphia markets. What does it take? Who do you have to be? Who do you need on your team? Do you need money? How much money do you need? Or if you were like some of us starting off with absolutely nothing, can you go out there and hustle and make it happen? Okay, we're going to be diving in on all sorts of topics. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Make sure you guys are tuned in. We literally have over 40 people tuned in with us right now, and a bunch of other people are logging in right now. So if you guys are just now tuning in, I want you to put it in the comment section. Let me know how excited you are for today's event. So do that first. And in addition to that, put it in the comment section. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Shout out your neighborhood. Shout out your city. Put it in the comment section. Let's get this bad boy rolling. My name's Elijah. I'm going to be one of the co-hosts today, and we have my man Sean. Sean's going to be hosting as well. Sean, say what's up.
What's up, guys? I'm excited.
Real quick, so people are still saying there's feedback still.
Yeah, Stephanie, you shouldn't stream also on your Facebook because it's repeating. And after the comments, we're gonna read them once we get to the Q&A session. So don't worry about them.
Oh yeah, I'm not streaming on Facebook anymore.
Okay.
All right. If it still feeds, then I'll connect with my phone. Okay.
Okay. I think it's better. What do you think?
No, it's not. It's still feedback.
Okay.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, connect on your phone. We'll bring you back in. Guys, thank you for being patient with us. So let's see here. So guys, put in the comment section. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you guys are pumped up for today's event. We got Dan, Brooklyn in the house. Shout out Brooklyn. Hello, hello. We got Akila, first time here, excited to learn, network, and collaborate. I have some capital and a couple properties in Cali. Shout out Cali, but we'll be frequenting West Philly area. Shout out. You got a lot of amazing players here in West Philly, so we'll be diving into that neighborhood for sure today. Whoop whoop. Upper North, excited to be here. Long time, guys. Cheryl from Brooklyn. We got some Brooklyn people here tonight. I love it. All right, guys. Listen, if you guys are just now tuning in, we got a lot more viewers on now. Do me a quick favor, okay? If you guys are excited for today's event, make sure you share this with your family and friends. Share this with some of the local people in your Facebook friends list. So hit the like and share button. Get this message out there. We're going to be diving into all sorts of amazing topics today, and we have some pretty incredible guests with us too. Let's see if this guy's going to join us here, Jabbar Fairweather. So Sean, why don't you start this off, and then we'll get back into the open discussion for a few more moments. Tell us how excited and what you're most pumped for about today's event, Sean.
All right, guys. I actually, I'm really excited for the panelists tonight because I never actually was able to connect with a full panel where I possibly kind of done some type of deal with them. So Jabbar, I think he just hopped on, right?
Jabbar's tuning in now. Yes.
Yeah. So Jabbar done stuff with him. Stephanie, I done stuff with her, and Jason. You know, we've already kind of got in play in motion with that. So I'm really excited just to hear about what they got going on from the past and what they got going on next. I meant right now in 2021, what their future is looking like and how they're ramping up their business.
All right, Stephanie, how are we with the sound? That sounds better. Yes, you can hear me, Stephanie.
Say something, right. Stephanie. Yeah, there's no echo. That's great.
Great, better.
Guys, how's
it? Like he's jogging or something. Like
Jabbar's out in the streets now. Okay, you want to talk about hustle? Jabbar's out in the streets now. All right.
He's at the bar.
Or he's at the bar. One or the other. We're gonna find out.
Yeah. So, Nick, you guys want to carry on with the open topic here?
Let's do. We're gonna do intros with Jason and Stephanie and Jabbar in a second. We just want to wrap up this conversation we're having. We were talking about the laws that are changing with wholesaling and what we have to do as a wholesaler in Philadelphia now. Can you lay it out for us, Sean, because you know more about it than I do?
Oh yeah, I have some cliff notes from when. Shout out to Lucy, Kirk, and the lawyer. I forget the lawyer's name, but they did a little Zoom call, kind of going over a little bit. So let me find it. I just had it up. There's like 5 bullet points that were really amazing. So, one, if you're a lawyer, broker, agent, you're not covered by this law except if you're acting as a wholesaler transaction. So this really applies if you're doing an actual wholesale transaction where you're flipping immediately, making a nice return on your time in that deal. Okay, so there would be a do not solicit list in the city of Philadelphia. It's gonna release sometime next year. I'm not sure how they got this list. If you market to this list, you can incur some fines. The license will cost $200, and the application will be posted on L&I website. It must be renewed annually. When this policy is in effect, you must provide this disclosure to every seller that explains their rights to consult with an attorney, broker, or visit the OPA website to see the true value of their property. After disclosing, you have to wait 3 days before you send them an agreement of sale for them to sign. If the dates don't reflect, this could be a serious repercussion. The city will release a template They said that they were going to release it sometime in February of this year. Another bullet point was, if you're buying a property in a different name that says on the contract, for an example.
Hey, Sean, we should address each bullet point.
Okay.
And I think we should just talk about the major ones, because the major one was the fact that one, how do we prove that we created value, right? And then two was, how do you handle the 3-day window of time for them to change their mind?
Right. And then,
I mean, what were the biggest major obstacles to this?
It's so many gray areas. I mean, Stephanie was on there. It was so many gray areas, and even Stephanie had a lot of good questions. With, well, what about this? What about that? I'm gonna be honest. At the end of it, I honestly like it all, because it's really putting you as a wholesaler in a good position to protect yourself. So this is supposed to protect the seller, which it does, but it also gives wholesalers protection as well. But you're right. There are so much we could do for each bullet point, and I'm gonna be honest. The best bet is to get some lawyers on here and discuss each one, because it's so many like different scenarios that you could play with.
For me, it sounds like it's just like New Jersey, because in New Jersey we have to give every person that we go on a contract with 3 days window to change their mind. It's called like attorney review in New Jersey.
Right.
And so I really don't think that's a big deal. It's like standard procedure. And as the only thing that I can see that's a problem is, or that's really interesting, is the fact that if you buy the property and you did a back-to-back, even though you bought it, the seller can still come back and sue you for the fact that they needed to sell quickly. And even though you bought it and you made a big fee, they could sue you for like not being well informed or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
That's the only thing like I see that's weird. But Jason or Stephanie, do you guys know anything about that?
So I just think there's a lot of gray areas, and like Sean was talking about previously before I came on, is that, you know, with the right to decision, a 3-day right to decision, if the bill was written poorly and didn't truly define what an actual wholesaler is, then who's going to write these disclosures? What are these disclosures going to state? And then, you know, it's saying go after the, you know, refer these sellers to the OPA, but I mean, their assessment values are wrong. So I came across a lot deal today. They want $450,000. It's sitting on a few parcels, but I went into Atlas to be able to look at zoning, and I just was like, let me see what the assessment value was, and it was like the market value was at 128. The assessed value was at 32,000. For like four parcels. And I'm just like, so I mean, are we giving those values? Because in a sense, it could work great for you, for still an investor. But it's just going back to the definition of what a wholesaler is, what we are doing to be able to help revamp these communities. If it wasn't for us, there would still be potentially homes that are still neglected, distressed properties, and we're going out there. And even as I'm an agent, and I don't want to work for less than a certain commission. And right. So are these agents even going out and doing the work that wholesalers are doing? I mean, as a wholesaler, I'm like, I feel like I'm an eviction person. I've dealt with houses where you have squatters, cash for keys, all sorts of things that a typical agent is not going to put their hands on. So there's a lot of misconception about wholesalers, but I do understand their point as far as wanting to be able to protect sellers, as well as to be able to where it's protecting wholesalers, but how they're going about defining it and how they're going about just the stipulations, like, oh, just pay a $200 wholesaling license fee. It just seems like it's a way to be able to obtain more money, but you're still not doing your job of actually
protecting anybody.
Protecting, yes, in a sense, because I mean, wholesalers, are they going to have to attend a class? Like, I mean, as agents, you know, you want us to be ethical as wholesalers, but as agents, we have a code that we have to stand by. It's really not saying much, to be honest, besides pay this $200 fee and we'll let you wholesale and just have them sign this disclosure. But are you really teaching wholesalers that are going out there and giving these outrageous prices and, you know, don't know their numbers? Like, what are you doing to actually help the wholesaler?
Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I honestly think it's the cities realizing that they're not making the transfer tax,
Right.
which, you know, is obvious. But I, as a positive thing, I think it's going to help validate, as Stephanie said, how people have perceived wholesalers as being shady, slimy, yada yada. Us having this license, whatever they want to call it, might help us with some of these sellers and homeowners that say, "Oh, you're a wholesaler, you're shady." But I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to find a positive to it, but I think it's going to be an ongoing change.
I agree
as it goes. I mean, it hasn't even come out yet. You know, I think it's going to be
so
ever changing.
I wouldn't worry about it until it's here next month, right?
Correct. I mean, yeah, who knows what's going to happen when it comes out? I mean,
right. How and not only that, even though it could be written until it's enforced too, right? Because not necessarily everything is enforced. Okay, guys, you guys want to take over the show? Do proper introductions for everybody.
Yeah,
You can't do it, Elijah. You muted yourself, dude.
redo.
It's 7:15. We are ready to get this show on the road. Is Jabbar, you're here with us, yes?
Don't worry, just keep going.
Jabbar's tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Philadelphia Real Estate Investors Association. We're super excited. As you can already tell, we are diving into some pretty in-depth details. And the best part about this whole community, I have to say, okay, I've been working with Nick now for 3 years. My favorite part is that the markets, okay, the information, the education, it is always changing. And if you don't find yourself ahead of this curve, if you don't find yourself having the conversations that are going on right now, you won't be in this business. And that's why we love putting on these events. That's why we love hosting these, is to bring like-minded people, people who have real experience, real knowledge, people that have scars on their backs, okay? And we get to dive in with them and really find out what's going on in today's markets, what's working, what's not working, what do we need to do to put ourselves in a position to truly succeed. And yes, in the beginning, as I'm sure you're going to hear from definitely Jason, Stephanie, and Jabbar, in the beginning, it's going to be tough. If it was easy, it wouldn't be. It's not for everybody, okay? But as long as you stick through, you stay consistent, you stay involved with the community, you'll make it through. And we're here to support you. We're here to have some fun. We're here to give you guys the education that you need. Guys, this is Philadelphia Real Estate Investors Association. We're going to be diving in talking about all sorts of wholesale stuff today. We're super excited. My three speakers, I'm pumped to have you guys. Jason, this is our first time conversing. It's an honor for me to be here with you, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yes. Stephanie, I've seen you before, girl, and I love the energy, and I'm super excited to dive in. And Jabbar, when he comes, if he comes, brother, you know I love you, and I'm super excited. So at the moment, I got to say this is one of our most engaged, okay, one of our most excited crowds. We literally have over 70 people tuned in right now. So guys, make sure you hit the like and share button. This is going to be one of our largest, one of the most impactful events that we have for Philadelphia till this date. And I'm excited. I'm pumped up. Okay. So make sure you guys hit the like and share button, put it down in the comment section, use that as your place to network. Any questions you have throughout today's event, post them in the comment section. We'll get your questions pulled up. We'll get them answered. And I have you guys until 8:30. So let's make the most of this opportunity that we have tonight. So we have Sean. He's going to be co-hosting with me. Let's dive into intros and then let's jump in. Sean, I'm going to have you ask the first question, so make sure you're ready. We got Jason Stackhouse in the building. He is the owner. He's the dealer of Stack Investments, right?
That's right.
Yeah, they've been running and dealing in the Philadelphia area for quite some time. So, Jason, I'm super excited, super honored to be here with you today, man. Ready to dive in. Can you please just give our audience a warm introduction? Let them know what you're all about, and let's share some good vibes, man.
Of course. Yeah, Jason Stackhouse, as you said, Stack Investments, been doing this since 2008. right after the market kind of tanked and was on its way back up. I actually started rehabbing and then got into wholesaling by accident. Since the beginning of 09 is when I started wholesaling, really getting into it. And ever since, that's been my number one focus, has been wholesaling. Now I have, and still looking to do rehabs and rentals and stuff like that, but it's mainly a wholesaling focus. Been doing between 30 to 60 deals a year on average. And just looking to really get that number to increase. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and hopefully we get some good questions and good content going.
I love it. Yeah, we're excited. I can't wait to dive in and just hear kind of how your story evolved, how you accidentally got started off with your first wholesale deal, which we will be diving into. So that's a little bit about Jason. By the way, guys, we're going to be putting up their contact information at the very end. So make sure that you stay on to the very end, because they're going to be giving you guys their personal contact information, and you can reach out to them and start to build that relationship and to get to know these local people that are actually out there in the business every single day. And these are great guys to have on your friends list. So make sure you guys connect with them at the end. We will be giving you guys their contact info. All right. The queen of the whole entire night. We got the one and only Stephanie. As y'all can see, she's got all the motivation, the heels, the boss status. I respect it. I respect it all. Stephanie, how you feeling tonight? Give our audience a warm intro. Let us know who you are and how powerful you are, girl. We're ready.
Yes. What's up, guys? My name is Stephanie. I'm out the Philadelphia area because I know we have a few people who are from out of state. I'm at My Life is Real Estate on IG. So I do a lot of things within real estate. I started about 7 years ago, and I did not start out as the typical wholesaler. I bought my first property with a college refund check. So I've been a full-time investor, I would say, for about 2.5 years now. And a few things that I do within real estate are I'm an Airbnb host. I'm a landlord. I do fix and flips, as well as I have buy and holds. I'm a licensed contractor as well as a licensed agent. All right.
Wow. I love it. All right. We got Jabbar. Is Jabbar in here?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Jabbar? First of all, we have to know, brother, where are you at right now, man? Where are you at?
I'm not in Utah, but I'm in an undisclosed location. That's all I can say.
Undisclosed. Wait, is this one that's under contract, or you're still working on the contract?
Undisclosed location. That's all I can say. But I think that is always great, man. I go where the deals are. You know what I mean? I'm working on a big project now. Basically, what we're talking about is deploying about $2 million to help people acquire projects. So I'm with a bunch of people, and one of the guys is like, "Look, I have $2 million and I want to deploy it." So he invited me to talk about it with a bunch of developers, and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I got to make that meeting." So, it'd be good to help people, because he wants to help people get their first project, do bridge loans, because of also the wholesale rules have changed. So a lot of people are going to do double closing. So he's like, "Jabbar, how can I take advantage of doing double closing and getting a return with the $2 million?" I mean, he's just using it as a number. I said, "Oh man, we got to talk about that." So, that's what we're working on. Well,
as you guys can hear, Jabbar is the man when it comes to PA. So Jabbar, I'm going to do a little intro just because, I've been rolling with you now for a while. But, man, Jabbar has just been nothing but great energy. One of the first guys that I ever met in the Philadelphia markets. And everybody knows him. When you meet someone and everyone knows them, you can tell that reputation matters more than anything. And Jabbar is definitely one of those guys. So, Jabbar, super honored to have you on here for the wholesale topic, which we know you know what you're doing, baby. Please, if there's anything else that you would like to add, we're going to be diving into the story. So just please keep it brief, especially you, Jabbar. Love you. But, yeah, give us a quick little intro and say what's up, man, to our audience.
Hey, what's going on, man? My name's Jabbar. I've been doing real estate since 1996. I got my license around 2000, 2001 at Caldwell Banker. I worked for Drew DeMarco, who was buying 7 houses a week, every week, about 100 a year. I started buying 4 houses a month myself as an investor. And when the market crashed and it was going down in 2008, 2007, I started wholesaling full time. And basically someone trying to wholesale my properties, which were already in foreclosure, pre-foreclosures. I lost 2 to the sheriff's sale. I lost my job. I was getting divorced, and I was going through the the worst of the worst. I was a motivated seller. I had my properties on the market and it wasn't getting any offers. My tenants weren't paying me. And then someone came around and said, well, I'll buy your properties. And I was really buying the properties. He wasn't. He was wholesaling to someone else. And I see that guy made $42,000 off of me. I was like, wait, what are you doing? Here I am making, I think I made $7,000 off the first deal. He said, do you care what it appraised for? What number do you want? I said, I just wanted to pay my bills and get rid of the property. And basically I walked away $7,000. He walked away $42,000. I said, well, I need to do what you're doing. And that's when I started wholesaling. But, you know, it's one of those things that once you learn the skill, you understand of talking to motivated sellers. I've been in their situations. I really want to help people. And then you have connections. I started with building a list of buyers. And that's my thing. You got a deal, you send it to me, I got a buyer for it. And my buyers trust me because my word is my word. I don't want to make a lot of money off of your back. And then you turn around and be like, man, so I'm going to tell you what I think the construction cost is going to be. I'm going to tell you what I think I can sell the property for. So I talk to people and I talk to other wholesalers and help them when they have deals they need to JV or need to get rid of, because you have 30 days. Usually most wholesalers are putting properties on the contract for 30 days. You should put it on the contract for a little bit longer, maybe 45 or 60 if you can, depending on the situation with the seller. But at the end of the day, in 30 days, you're promising you're going to sell the property. Usually people wait for 2 weeks. They don't get rid of the property. Then they call me and say, Bar, we got 2 weeks. I've sold a lot of properties in 24 hours where someone said, Bar, you got 24 hours to sell this deal, sell the deal and get it done. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's it. We done.
Guys, a lot of information. We're ready to dive in. So first and foremost, before I let Sean kind of run it with the first question, I do want to let you guys know that we have a very special event today. We only have roughly an hour with these guys. We're going to be diving in, covering all sorts of information for the wholesale topic. However, on January 23rd, okay, make sure you put this in your notes, put this in your calendar. Get your tickets ASAP. January 23rd, we are having our first ever Philadelphia Real Estate Wholesale Summit. All right. This event is going to be literally from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. full day event. All the events are going to be recorded. So just in case you do happen to miss one, we will have them recorded. But it's super important that you're there live so you can ask questions and meet all the speakers. We're going to be having some of the top biggest guys in Philadelphia that specialize in wholesaling. We're going to be bringing on some of the local contractors to talk about rehabbing and exactly how to do it, as well as local agents that are absolute killers in the Philadelphia market. So January 23rd, you guys are going to want to be at that event. If you look in the comment section now, there's a link. If you use this link, you can get a free ticket. Okay, these tickets go up to $100. By the day the event gets here, these tickets will be $100. So this is your only chance to get the link to get the ticket for absolutely free, but have to register for it now. So look in the comment section. The link is down there. And if you can't find that, just shoot me a message and I'll send you all the details for the Real Estate Summit on January 23rd. You're going to want to be there. Let's go. Sean, let's get this. What's your first question, man?
All right. My first question is for the three of y'all, but we'll let you guys answer one at a time. Just keep in mind the time factor. We have an hour. So, we have a few questions here, but let's start with you, Jason. You started off. So I know that you said earlier you started out fix and flip and then into wholesale. But really, I think a lot of people are always curious, what did you do prior to real estate in general? And what was that transition like? So what were you doing before wholesaling? How'd you?
So for me, the transition was, I guess, a little easier because I've always been in sales since I graduated college. I was actually working for Upper Deck, the sports trading cards company and sports memorabilia. I was working from home. So when I started to look for ways to do something on my own, real estate's always been an interest. So I started, all the shows, flip this house, flip that house was on. So I was like, oh, this seems interesting. So I started doing that. I partnered with a guy that was local to me that wanted to do the same thing. We bought a property, rehabbed it. I was like, all right, so how can I turn this into a full-time job? And just meeting people, I think I went to a local RIA meeting or investor meeting, and the guy's like, why don't you wholesale in the meantime until you find your next flip? And I was like, I had no idea what wholesaling was at that time. So I started looking into it, talking to people, and that was end of 08, beginning 09. And since then, that's been 95% of what I've been doing is wholesaling. So it's kind of, like I said, wholesaling came just by accident for me trying to find a way to get into this full time. And I've always been, marketing and talking to people and all that has always been my thing, being in sales, obviously. So talking to people, talking to sellers and marketing for new deals has always been just come natural to me. So that's why with wholesaling, it kind of fits.
Now, Jason, I know you got started like at one of the craziest times, 08 to 09, huge transitions taking place there. How was inventory at that time? I'm just curious. Was there like a lot of inventory? Did you come in like as soon as a lot of inventory hit the markets? Was inventory dry?
Yeah, it was. And I'll tell you, my wife and family all said, "You're nuts. What are you doing getting into real estate now? People are losing their house." I said, honestly, this is probably the best time for me to get in because I'm going to be able to buy properties for cheap. And it did. The inventory started. Foreclosures were really high. And the inventory was very high. So I was buying them for cheap. And now our first rehab we bought, nearly dirt cheap. It was actually in Pottstown, believe it or not. Bought it for 25 grand, I think it was about a $75,000 rehab and sold it for 180. So kind of worked out nicely. And Pottstown, I mean, we started there, but people always told me it was going to be the next up and coming city, but I wouldn't say that yet. But yeah, so inventory was definitely there, unlike today.
Pottstown. That was your first flip, you said.
What's that?
So that was your first flip, you said.
My first 5 were in Pottstown, believe it or not.
And you just went straight into wholesaling from that by accident.
Yeah, I mean, after the first one, I started talking to other investors, and I was like, I need to find a way. I got the bug. I needed to get into real estate and love the flipping part of it. But with flips, you don't get paid for 4, 5, 6 months later, if not longer. I was like, well, that's not a way to do this full time. And I started asking around, and people said, try wholesaling, and here we are today.
An accidental discovery. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move along. Stephanie, how about you? What were you doing before wholesaling?
So real quick, Sean, just for the sake of time, let's ask that question, but then take it a step further and go in a little bit deeper and wrap up the whole first point. So what are they doing? And let's talk about first deal, then we'll wrap that up and then on to the next speaker.
Oh, all of it. Okay. All right, so back to you, Jason.
Yeah.
How did you source out your first deal?
Yeah, our first deal I actually found on auction.com when auction.com just came out. It was a little different than it is today, but my partner and I, we were just out scouring the MLS. We had a realtor trying to help us find a deal, and we found this one on auction.com and actually went to a live auction with, auctioneer and all that stuff, and we won the bid.
Wow. So you went and you didn't even see it. You just bought it online.
We got one walk. Yeah, we did. We went and walked through, and then the auction was the next day. And
so no title or anything then? You didn't run no title search?
We didn't. No title. Now the title was run. The auction company had the title, so it was clear. They cleared. It went through all the bank, whatever. It was a bank-owned property, so they ran all that. So,
how much did you make on that first deal?
I forget the exact number, but like I said, we bought it for 25 with the auction fees and stuff, closing costs, and then we put about 75, I think, into it, and sold it for 180.
This wasn't the first wholesale deal.
This was our first rehab.
Yep. So tell me about the first wholesale deal.
First wholesale deal was actually another. It was a bank owned, but I actually kind of partnered with another guy who was doing wholesales at the time in Westchester. I actually put a sign. It was, believe it or not, it was a sign on a post, a bandit sign.
Okay.
The guy called me. The wife called. The wife of the deceased husband called, said, "We have this property you need to sell." And I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time, so I got in touch with this guy who was the one who kind of walked me through the process in the beginning. And he's like, "Well, let's do it together." So, and he actually ended up buying it from me and paid me the wholesale fee. So.
So you had a partner involved. How'd you meet this guy? How'd you meet this guy who was already wholesaling? Was he
was, I think, one of our local real estate investors meeting, a local RIA meeting I went to. Yeah.
So at a local RIA just like this.
Yep.
You met him. I assume you told him that. Were you interested in buying? Like, how did you present yourself?
No, it was actually about wholesale. I think the panel was a couple wholesale. Sort of, it's almost similar to this exactly. In-person meeting, went there, and I just was trying to network and meet people and find out what what this wholesaling was all about. And he was a local guy. He actually lived, 10 minutes from where I was out here in Westchester. So it kind of worked out.
How long did it take for you to close that deal from start to finish?
Well, it actually turned out to be like a short sale type. It was probably about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It was a pain. It literally, I learned a lot, I'll tell you, in the first deal. But he was the buyer, so I knew that, he wasn't going anywhere and he had the time to wait it out. So
that's pretty cool. So you found it from a bandit time. So I know with everything that has happened last year, COVID and everything, it really must have changed how you source your deals.
Yeah.
What are you doing today? Anything different than before? I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple bandit signs in my trunk of my car that I don't even know why I still have them, because I haven't put a bandit sign up in probably 5-6 years, to be honest with you. So my main source, I would say probably 90% of my marketing is all direct mail. Postcards, handwritten letters, yellow letters, that type of thing.
Any reason why you haven't done the bandit signs in around 5 years? Because I know people still promote it. People are still marketing it. People are saying, "Oh, put up bandit signs. It's super easy. Just put it on all the busy highways." What's the reason that you decided to? By the way, this is a guy who's doing 30 to 60 deals a year. Okay, guys. So make sure you're paying attention here. But why is it that you've decided to not pursue the bandit signs as of right now?
Multiple reasons. One, especially in Philly, if you go to a lot of corners, you'll see there's 25 different We Buy Houses signs on each corner. That's number one. Out here, I'm from Westchester, out here in the suburbs, Chester County. So I will say I've put them out here, and I've gotten numerous calls from the township codes guys saying, if you don't take it down, you will be fined $200 per sign. And I had to get them down that day. So I was like, all right, that's not going to work, because I know out here, they're serious. Philly, I don't know if they'd be able to track you down as much, but these guys. And the other thing is, probably shame on me, I use my direct cell phone number on my signs. So because I like
personal line, the personal line, yeah.
I'll tell you, I get a lot of people that when I answer, they say, "Holy crap, you answered the phone." I mean, that's me. Why put marketing out there if you're not going to answer the phone? So that's that. The other thing is, I don't know if anybody on this call knows or have ever done bandit signs in bulk. It takes you multiple hours to go out and put even 20, 30 signs in an area. I mean, you have to drive around, you have to find out where to put them, you have to watch out for traffic. I mean, it really takes a lot of commitment and effort to put that many signs out. Right. So, and they're not cheap to buy. So,
right, I could see how your family think you're crazy with a whole bunch of bandit signs going on.
There's been days when I had my car full, and yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying earlier, yeah, I'm going to do this. And they're saying you're crazy. But
there was a lot of fight to get me to jump into this. And I started out part-time. I still had my sales job. I was still doing full-time, doing this part-time. And once I started seeing wholesaling works and could be like a steady income as a paycheck, that's when I made the switch. Probably middle of 2009 is when I went full-time.
Right. All right, so I know that with COVID and the demand of real estate right now, like at an all-time high, is looking out deals harder today? What's your thoughts?
I will say, I mean, I think it was Elijah. I think you're the one that said, and I have this word circled in my paper because it's the most important for me, especially for the marketing aspect, is you have to stay consistent. I think you said consistency is a huge key. With marketing, it is a matter of how many quantity you send out, but you have to stay consistent with it. If that's a monthly, weekly, every other month basis, you can't send out a batch of direct mail or whatever your marketing is one time and wait 6, 8, 10 months to do it again. It has to be a regular thing that you do and stay consistent with it. That along with follow-up. If people call you, 1, try to answer the phone. 2, I know we're all busy. If they do leave a message or ever, try to get back to them and stay on top of them, because if not, somebody else is going to get that deal from you. So consistency and the follow-up are probably the 2 main keys I'd like to stress on the marketing side of it.
Yeah, and Jason, it definitely sounds like you're really hitting on the customer service aspect of it, right? Like you have a business that is flowing, and like you have to be able to pick up the phone. And so for you, Jason, do you prefer to have like people call you, so like when you send out your direct mails, your postcards, your handwritten letters, are you just sending these out? Are you following up with a phone call? Are you just waiting on the call to come in? How do you kind of handle, like, what's your strategy for, really making sure that you're staying in touch with these people? Is it only through direct mail? You doing phone calls as well?
I've kind of started mixing in cold calling. It's one thing that takes a lot of time. And the first off is I do a lot of skip tracing and cold calling myself. So I don't hire VAs. I've done it a couple times, but it's just been trying to get them on board of what to say, how to say it, make the calls, that kind of thing kind of takes a lot of effort. So direct mail, I send. So what my main goal is, I send to a zip code this month. I'll wait 3, 4, 5 months and rotate that zip code back in along with the other zip codes. So I kind of try to hit them a couple times a year if I can. And then just kind of keep that mix and that pipeline going. It seems like I'll tell you, I've gotten a calls where a guy said, "Man, you've been sending me postcards," and he showed me a stack of 6 to 8 of them. Said I just wasn't ready, but I held on to them till. So again, it's the consistency that your name's in front of them. And I know a lot of us doing this are doing direct mail, so they're getting inundated with a lot of postcards. Believe me, I get the calls saying, "Take me off your effing list, or I will call the cop," that type thing. But at least they're at least I'm getting noticed. At least they're, getting into people's hands. So
now I'm sure there's a lot of people that are out there asking. And guys, if you guys have any questions over direct mail or anything specifically that Jason has spoken on, ask them now, okay? So I can have them in the comment section. But Jason, a lot of people are saying that direct mail is expensive. It requires a lot of money and time. What are your kind of thoughts on the capital aspect, that is needed to be able to successfully stay consistent with direct mail? Because you just said, like, you're sending 6 to 7 letters, and I'm sure that's over a period of 1 to 2 to maybe 3 years. What's that capital aspect of direct mail look like for you, and what do you advise for people who might just be getting started with it?
Sure, and that's a good. I should have probably started with that. When I first started really marketing for wholesaling, I was sending maybe a couple hundred postcards or letters a month. I mean, I'm up to now about 10 to 15,000 per month, but I'll say, and that's just because the deals I got the capital coming in to do that. But you can really, if you stay consistent, even if you're sending a couple hundred, which isn't really that big a deal. I mean, for a postcard, it's 35 cents a stamp, and I actually print my own postcards here at home, which kind of helps with some of the costs. But you can get local printers to print them for you. I don't buy lists. I get a lot of my stuff through tax records. I have, I kind of blanket mail to certain zip codes. So I'm not buying a list per se. So that kind of keeps some of my costs down. But even if you send a couple hundred a month to start, as long as you keep that going, you should be getting calls coming in. Again, you can't send 100 this month and wait for a call and not send another 100 for another 6 to 8 months. I mean, it's not going to work that way for you.
Wow, that's really amazing, Jay. And I think you're a prime example that proves you can transition into a new career if you decide to. And I think it's just like, I think it's crazy that you just dive right in and this is what you're doing.
I had to do. I was tired of working for somebody else, and I'm like, I got to do something. And this is, I love doing this. My favorite part of this is finding the deals. Right. Obviously, cashing a check at the end of the day is nice, but finding a deal is the most fun for me.
And I think you just said it, like, you love doing this. So if you love doing it, it won't get boring to you. Right. So I want to know, have you successfully replaced that income? Like, this is just it right now?
This is my 100% career. Yes. It's more than covered what I was doing before.
Wow, guys, you guys are hearing it first, and it's possible. You just stay consistent, pick a strategy, dig down into it. He's saying, don't just send one mailer. You got to follow up months and months in advance. So, COVID was really a worst time for everybody and all businesses. So I really want to know, how's your business right now? And how do you plan on going?
All right, so Sean, now we're going to stay on the same topic. So we're back to deal sourcing. What were they doing before? Straight into deal sourcing. So let's wrap that up before we get into, how COVID has transitioned. So let's go to one of the new speakers you can pick and go back to the flow.
All right, I guess, Steph, you're up. Mrs. Queen of Wakeup Investment. I'm actually excited to talk to you. We never had our luncheon that you owe me. first of all. Yeah, you guys see her face. But I know that your first investment was straight out of, what was it, college? A refund check, you said?
Jabbar,
Hear you.
you're on mute.
Got you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I know you said that earlier. Your first investment was a refund check. You know, what were you really doing prior to wholesaling, and how did you transition into it?
Okay. So the deal that I did that was a refund check, that was actually my first property. That was 7 years ago. I just started wholesaling at the end of 2017. So actually my first deal was like a crazy deal. Because it winded up being I wholesaled a subject to deal that was originally supposed to be an assignment. It was supposed to be an assignment where me and this guy, he actually brought a buyer. He showed the property. Buyer didn't like it. But there was an assignment fee of maybe like around $14,000. And so he said, hey, you know, I'm a law consultant. And he was just like, how about we partner in on this deal to be able to close it with his now new buyer. Where when we got title back, title was crazy. So the assignment actually went from we couldn't sell the house. No one was going to sell it. Our numbers were off to do a wholesale deal, but we could do a subject too. So his buyer actually was willing to put down $17,000. Out of that $17,000, we were going to walk with $4,500 each, and the lady walked with $5,000. This was whenever you're wholesaling, guys, you have to think about what is the motivation of your seller. So these are some really, key points. Is it that they need the money because they're in debt? Is it because the house is falling down and they don't have the funds to be able to rehab it? Are they in pre-foreclosure? So you have to really think about what is the motivation. In this lady's case, she seemed so sweet during the entire process. She was very cooperative. However, her daughter had passed away in the house. Her daughter passed away in the house a few years ago, so a few years prior. So she just felt like, she wanted a new start, new beginning. When we got title back, title was clouded. Her ex-husband owed credit card debt. So many different things can wind up coming up on title, guys. So title was clouded. What else? So she just owed a lot of stuff. So we did the subject too. We walked away from the table, and afterwards, it was a nightmare. How I sourced that deal, however, was my cousin actually referred me. So I had got an idea from like a wholesale group that was like, you tell your friends what you're doing. So, and remember, Sean, like I think like a couple years ago, you had even posted, I had like stolen, it was like the for sale, like you posted a for sale sign and you said, hey guys, if you see any of these for sale by owner signs, let me know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Sean, I'm still in this or whatever. So I had posted it a couple times, and it was like, hey, we'll pay a referral fee up to $1,000. At the time, I think my referral fee was like $500. So my cousin gave me this lady, and that's how I sourced the deal, word of mouth. And it was a good deal. We closed, but it wanted to be in a nightmare because like she was dissatisfied that we made money on the back end. And this was my first deal too. So she knew that she didn't have to pay me. I disclosed that I was an agent. So I had, did all the proper things that I had learned of.
Right.
Luckily, we went through an attorney for this. So it was like, that was a way of protection as well. But she just didn't like that she looked at it like, oh, you made $9,000. But technically I made 45. My partner made 45 and she walked with 5. So she was just kind of dissatisfied at that part. She didn't want to leave the house because we gave her like 2 weeks to leave afterwards. So we held money in escrow.
Right.
She didn't want to leave. But this was my first deal, guys. So it was a little scary. And it's your name as well. So you want you want to feel like you're solving someone's problem. And then come to find out in the end, after everything I went through, my cousin was like, "Oh, I didn't tell you she has a mental disorder." And I was like, "No, are you kidding me?" And come to find out, the lady was talking about angels and devils on her page, came and stole her house. And she was just saying she keeps on seeing the angels and devils outside of her house. Like, I had to screenshot all of these posts. It was so crazy because the lady was such a nice lady and she turned on me. But crazy first deal. I know that I was able to help solve her problem, even though she was dissatisfied in the end with the finances, but she was able to walk and be able to get into a new place, which that was her goal. And you just pray for, I just prayed for her and I kept it moving and gave my cousin a referral fee.
How much did he get? $5?
My cousin got $500, and then she did like a video, which wound up being like my promo video, where she's like, "Hey, get with Wakeup Investments, where you can get a referral fee." So it's a little corny little video at the time, but
wow. Yeah. So now I just realized you're the reason why we have this wholesaling license happening.
Hey, I did everything with an attorney, so I'm clear.
Yeah, you're right. All right. So that was a really crazy first deal, and if you're new, subject to is just a whole nother concept. And I guess for you to learn that in your first one has to be really beneficial to where you are now, right? Having a hard one. So that was really your first deal. But what were you doing before wholesaling? And how did you really stumble upon that?
So I was a former school counselor from 2013 to about 2017. And after I was a school counselor for a cyber school, and then I lived in Dominican Republic. So when I came back from Dominican Republic in 2017, I told myself I still had the side hustle of real estate. So as a teacher, you never make that much money. So any helping service field, police officers, firefighters, you don't make that much money. So real estate was a side hustle as far as purchasing properties that were typically already fixed up. So I had purchased properties with credit cards. I did refis off my houses. So I didn't even consider myself an investor. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I needed a side hustle. So buying properties with W-2 income was my side hustle. So 2017, came back here from DR, and I told myself the beginning of 2018, I was going to start to educate myself on what it was I was doing, which was real estate and being an investor, but I didn't give it a term at the time. So I went to a guy's mastermind. It was like a dinner and mastermind thing. But Patrick June, who is kind of a low-key investor in Philadelphia, who does a lot of new construction. And what amazed me is that he had done like millions of dollars in deals, and he was like 20 something at the time, and we were like the same age. And I was like, oh my gosh, you've done millions of dollars deals with new construction, and you're like the same age as me. So I went to his mastermind, and 2018 I would say was my year of education. Okay. So that's kind of where I started to scale up and being an investor by educating myself. I learned about wholesaling through him when I went to his mastermind. And so was it? Yeah. So it was the end of 2018, not the end of 2017. The end of 2018 is when I started wholesaling. I learned in March of 2018 about wholesaling, and I learned about hard money. I learned about all that stuff. And then I started to join different real estate investment groups in Philadelphia. And it just was an amazing experience to be able to start to educate myself, be a conference junkie, to be able to help get me to where I am now.
Wow, you had a really big gap from your first deal to when you started to really take it on seriously. You said 7 years ago for that subject to deal you had, right? Am I right or wrong, right? So you had a big gap where you didn't do real estate. You said you went to DR.
Yeah. So I'm going to make sure I heard your question, because it's like I get feedback a little bit from, so the gap, 2013, I bought my first property. 2014, I bought a second one. And then I didn't buy any more until 2017. I had bought 2 in 2017. And then 2018 was the year that I started to dabble into wholesaling, as well as buying more properties with hard money. That was my first year in 2018 that I started to work with hard money.
Wow, man, education for real at its finest. You're a prime example.
So Stephanie, that's great. So, when you first got started a few years ago, you used your W-2 income to start purchasing, right? And I'm sure you had to learn about construction and all that. With your first wholesale deal, how much money did you end up putting up on that transaction? How much money out of your pocket did you put up for that transaction?
Okay, so if you could hear this feed, it's crazy. So for my first wholesale deal, how much money did I put out? Correct. My first deal, I probably put out like.
Not including gas money. Not including gas money.
No, I'm trying to say, was it $0? Did I even know about an earnest money deposit at the time? So I'm really trying to think about this. Remember, it was a referral. So technically, just the education. So technically, like $0 for whatever it cost me to put on. So if I put $1 down, matter of fact, I was doing $100 earnest money deposits at the time. Typically, you can get into the deal with $1 though. Solidify that contract with $1. So I think at the time I was doing $100 earnest money deposits. So probably $100, if that.
So I want to review that.
Wow.
Yeah, there is the feedback still. Here, hold on. So I want to review that because it's still feedback. Let me see. Is it Jason's? Hello? Check. Yeah, it's Jason's. Okay. So I want to review that because she did first of all, a subject to deal, which has more hurdles in it than probably any regular wholesale transaction, even though almost every single wholesale transaction also has hurdles. She had $100 up for it. She also had an attorney involved, and she was also a licensed real estate agent. All right. So there was a lot of lessons and awesome things dropped in there. And I hope you guys are paying attention because, she brought on an attorney just to make sure that everything was going well. And so, Stephanie, real quick before we get into how you're sourcing deals today, how you're finding deals today, I think a valuable question that all of our audience members are wondering, especially in Philadelphia. Do you feel that it's a good idea to have a solid real estate attorney on your team and a step further, to bring them in on some of the transactions just to look over the contracts and stuff like that? What are your thoughts with that?
Yes, and yes. I believe that you should have a real estate attorney on retainer just because you want to be able to value their time. And I know that I may want to text all different hours after business hours if I have a question. So I do recommend that you have an attorney that you can be able to speak with. A great thing about utilizing real estate investment groups as well is that you don't want to overutilize someone, but in these groups, you have so many different persons within the real estate realm that you can talk to for free as well. So, whether it's a part of being a part of Nick's Tang group or it's a part of being a part of Better Than Success, which Jabbar is representing right now, or Dig, Bragg. There's so many different groups here in Philadelphia that you can take part in to be able to have access to attorneys, wholesalers, agents, to be able to bounce ideas, ask questions. But for me, I'm at a point now with the type of investing that I do, including wholesaling, to be able to have an attorney on retainer so that I can be able to have access to ask all types of questions. So yes, it is definitely valuable.
I agree. More now than ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sean, let's transition to sourcing deals today.
Yeah, so Steph, how are you finding your deals today compared to before?
That's a great question. Man, the good old days when Craigslist was actually a thing, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. Craigslist used to be the thing back in the day. You can wake up early in the morning or before you go to bed. If you see someone have a late night post at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, you make sure you give them a text message so when they wake up, you're the first person that they can see in your phone. People may still use like Zillow. I've had deals off of Zillow where I know one deal that I had sold, I think it was a church deal. And I had met her off of Zillow. She had her
Not to
property
interrupt
at
you.
like, huh?
When you say Zillow, is it like a FISBA?
Oh yeah, so she was a for sale by owner, but people contact rental, the rental platform as well. Maybe looking for tired landlords. But those were things that I did back in the day where I felt like it was an easier target. Now I haven't looked at Craigslist in about a year. Honestly, I don't even know if Craigslist is still a thing for people. But it was a great resource, and I'm pretty sure you could probably get one deal out of there, here and there, maybe. But it's still a good platform to be able to utilize for finding buyers. But finding sellers, it's a little tough now. But those were two back in the day when I first started that were great resources. Now I'm going to list. I'm doing a deal machine where I have a team. I'm looking into actually this week, looking more into the PropStream platform they have a driving for dollars app. But I have utilized for some time now the enterprise selection for deal machine, where basically you can build teams in there and they can drive for dollars for you. So I still do driving for dollars. That's a classic thing where we went from writing paper to now being able to take pictures and send the mailer right away with the picture on it. And like I said, PropStream has been a great resource for me to be able to utilize. One way is with finding cash buyers right away, to be able to pull a list instantaneously, practically, in any zip code. And I like to look at it like as like the nationwide of like the MLS without being able to actually list properties. So I utilize that as well as still referrals. Yeah, those are like my two go-tos. List.
So question, and Jason, I'd be interested in hearing your feedback on this. When you guys are doing these mailers, because Stephanie, you got people out there driving for dollars for you. They're taking pictures of the house. Do you notice that the picture of the house gets a higher callback ratio versus maybe a handwritten letter, or can you even compare those two things? Like, does the picture of the house, does it make a huge difference in terms of the callback ratio? So, Stephanie, what are your thoughts? And then Jason, do you take pictures? You mainly into the handwritten and the postcards?
I can't answer that question because I can't compare them because I haven't really done both. Both. I've only done deal machine for the most part. I've done a little bit when I first started writing the letters specifically and like putting it in someone's door. But I've never done like yellow letters. I've always been a cold call person. I'm starting to get into text messaging, but I've never been a direct mail person from the beginning. I hit six figures my first year without doing direct mail, strictly cold calling and JVing on social media. So I haven't done direct mailers besides the deal machine postcards that
are sending out.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Jason, what are your thoughts on with the picture?
Yeah, and sorry, hopefully I don't have the feedback coming in, but I have not personally tried the one with the picture, but I have talked to a couple of guys that have done it, and they weren't very impressed with the response rate, given the fact they've done both, and they said it really wasn't that big of a difference, if at all. So I have never tried. I don't even know what the cost to do something like that is, but I do all my own postcards here. I print my own, and actually, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I use a handwritten type font to try to make it look a little personal. I do put the property address, and then on the back, and I stamp all these myself. So I just try to make it a personal feel with the postcards. And same thing with the letters that I handwrite and put in an envelope. But I've never personally tried the ones with the pictures of the houses on it.
No, that's great feedback. So, Stephanie, to wrap up with you real quick, do you recommend anyone who's new kind of getting started with Deal Machine? I mean, is it like an easy platform? Do you recommend people go out there for people who have no experience, right? And maybe let's say, hypothetically speaking, the budgets are tight right now. Do you recommend that they just go out there and start driving themselves? Do they get synced up with a platform like Deal Machine? What's kind of some of your guidance when it comes to that? Go ahead.
So I think I'm a firm believer in telling people don't get caught up in the shiny objects. One of my business partners the other day was like, hey, do you think we should get this system? And I said, until I see more consistency, no. I feel like I said, since I've started, I've been able to close deals and make pretty okay money with JVing with others. And so I'm a firm believer that if you're not strong in something, find someone who is strong in that field. When I first started out, I was like, oh, I want all the money for myself and, things like that. That probably lasted like a month and a half. And then it was like, okay, I had a partnership that didn't go well, but I still seen the value in that partnership. Where I was able to look at the good and say, okay, well, in these aspects, we worked together and this went well. That when I got a new partner, it was like, okay, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How can we come together to be able to work together? And anybody that I JV with, that's what we work on. So I am strong in disposition, so finding buyers. So with everything that I do, I can't sit and I can't look for leads all day. So my suggestion to newbies is to use social media. There's so many different leads that come out on all of these wholesale pages. It could be your page. It could be, let's say if you got people in here, maybe from Virginia, you got Virginia wholesalers, Philly wholesalers, you have Maryland wholesale groups, or you may have just cash buyer groups where now you may have some investors who need to get rid of properties. So go to these local groups and find out if anyone's having issues with selling or if they're willing to JV to you. Be a resource to be able to bring a buyer. Now, how you can find buyers is now, like I said, by going to these cash buyer pages. So whether it's Facebook or posting on Instagram, I think I've done pretty okay with social media. Even when I got started, it seems like it still hasn't died. It's still a great platform to be able to find buyers. But like I said, since PropStream has come out, I literally remember my first time pulling a buyers list. I wound up finding like 3 buyers who were already bidding on a property that I felt like it was so good that I winded up holding. I'm like, why is everyone wanting to bid on this property? So I found buyers right away with PropStream. So I definitely would say people are interested in PropStream. There's like a 7-day free trial. You can always email me DM me on Instagram about it. But it's a great way to be able to get a cash buyers list fast.
Yeah, so Stephanie just gave you guys some mad knowledge in terms of deals and even buyers and networking in general. And I'm sure Jason and Jabbar would agree that if no one knows about you, I doubt your phone's ringing, and if the phone's not ringing, how's the income looking? And so Stephanie's literally just saying start seeing what people are posting on Facebook or Instagram, and be of value. Reach out, touch base, start networking, and let people know what you do. Let people know that you help within real estate. And here's the greatest part to Stephanie's whole strategy. So if you don't get this, here's one of my biggest takeaways that I've learned from Stephanie. And people always ask, I learn more than probably anybody off these calls, just to let you guys know. But Stephanie's literally saying, if you can have some sort of lead, whether that's someone who's interested in selling or someone who's interested in buying, all you have to do now is go out and find a partner who has the other aspect of that. So if you have someone who wants to buy, you can go out and partner with someone like Stephanie or Jason or Sean. And, these guys have deals, or Jabbar, these guys have deals, and you can bring on your buyer. So you really don't even have to do you don't have to do everything in wholesale, and you can literally specialize. And it sounds like that's what Stephanie does. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Yes. And just to piggyback off of that. So I don't know Jason, but Jason seems like he's doing amazing. He's been doing this for a long time. But you have cash buyers that are on here right now. We're all cash buyers. And then on top of that, I met Sean at a real estate meetup. And then from there, he actually bought a property off of mine. And, there was a trust factor where actually he couldn't pay me all of the wholesale, the fee up front, but we winded up working it out on the back end. And, I actually have on my board right here, I can't turn my phone right now. Maybe I can a little bit so Sean can see. I have his little gift he gave me, right up there in the top corner. but it's just like, you know, we built a relationship, a business relationship after that, which is amazing because, you know, he can call me with deals. Now, sometimes if the price isn't right, you know, I'm gonna let Sean know right away. But that's why we're able to bounce ideas off of each other. So, I mean, I met him. He was able to buy a deal off of me that he was interested in at the time. I had a relationship, actually with the sellers. And it was quite interesting relationship where it was a trust factor. They needed to be able to trust me, and I was relatable for them to be able to sell this property to me, which in return, Sean and I worked together and I wholesaled it to him for him to take ownership. So you have to utilize these groups. I just flipped my first out-of-state property in New Jersey, and I had found
What part of Jersey? South Jersey?
Clayton, New Jersey.
Ooh, I know that is nice.
Yes, bought it for $45,000. Had solar panels on it. Only needed a cosmetic rehab. Sold it for $175,000.
Wow.
So you know, made out 60-something thousand. Actually, I made out with more because I wholesaled it to myself for like $21,000 up front. So it was actually a really great deal. So anyway, the point is that I met that young lady. She got it under contract for $35,000. I met her at a Cash and Coffees in Philadelphia every Saturday from 7 to 9. You can look it up on Facebook. And from meeting her, she had another buyer, a strong buyer. And I said, look, I might not be able to beat his price, but I'll give you my time and teach you wholesaling if you give me this deal. And she took that over the money, and we worked the deal out. I taught her some things. We learned about oil tanks in New Jersey. And yeah, I wound up making out very good in the end. I budgeted for about $13,000 to $25,000 for the oil tank remediation. Only spent $5,500.
Right.
So worked out really well with this deal. But all from building relationships, guys. And that's, you'll learn as you go in the game. Once you move from that newbie to like intermediate status, that some of these wholesale deals that you're getting and you're making, you know, $5,000, $10,000, or in my case, I've made, you know, $750 at times, that you will find creative strategies in the future to be able to help you to own these deals with putting still little to no money down, like I did with that Jersey deal where I wholesaled it actually to myself.
So, Sean, let's transition to Jabbar here. But Stephanie, that wasn't 104 James Place, was it, in Clayton?
No, it was 20.
Oh, okay. We're good.
Yeah, all right.
All right, Sean, let's go to Jabbar here.
Jabbar,
where you at?
There. We need you.
He's got a few seconds here. Jabbar, where you at? Countdown begins, ladies and gentlemen. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
There it is. Baby. Mr. JV King, I like to consider him. Work with bars, his tagline. And Jabbar, before wholesaling, you know, same question. What were you doing and how did you get into wholesaling?
Before wholesaling, I was a supervisor. Was I a supervisor at UPS? Yeah, I was a supervisor at UPS. I worked from 5 to 9, and then and I worked at Coldwell Banker and Philabagel in the bagel shop. So, you know, it just fell in my lap. While I was at Coldwell Banker, I was sitting there working my. I think I did 6 to 9 at Coldwell Banker, and I was doing that my floor time. And someone passed away, left their dad at the house. He told me I could get the property for $25,000. I sold the property to my cousin for $32,000. I made $7,000, and I was like, oh shoot, you know. And he wrote the check to my company, and that was my first wholesale deal. The main thing is I had like 2,000 employees at UPS. UPS was paying for Drexel. It seemed like a good idea, you know, to work at UPS. They pay for it. Then I decided to get my real estate license, 2000, and did that. But the real time that I started going in wholesaling really was, I was running like 5 or 6 pharmacies. And then when the market crashed, I was like, you know what? I'll just go back into real estate full time. And then that's what I've been doing ever since.
So when you made that 7,000 on this, your first deal, right?
Yeah, it was in Harbison Street. It was like 1519 or 1515 Harbison Street, right across from the hospital up there on Frankfurt.
Did you already know what wholesaling was?
I had no idea.
So you just did something, added your fee on top, sold it to your cousin, and that was it.
Yeah. No, I just did it. I mean, I was just figuring, instead of getting a commission,
Right?
I asked him how much he would pay for it. He just told me 32.
What was that, Jabbar? You're breaking up a little.
So, wholesaling just came. It just felt.
All right, guys, real quick, let me know if you can hear Jabbar. If you guys can hear Jabbar, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can hear Jabbar, give me a thumbs up. Jabbar, the signal might be a little shot. If you guys can hear Jabbar, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Yes or no, yes or no. Put it in the comment section. Jason, can you guys hear Jabbar? Okay.
It's like
yeah, Jabbar, you might have to exit and then come back in.
I can't hear you guys.
All right, yeah. You can hear me now?
It sounds like you're in a robot, but my phone's about to die. It's on like 1%. But I just want to tell everybody, that's cool.
Yeah, we can't hear you, and everyone in the group is also saying they can't hear you.
Hey man, something definitely you can do. Part-time, full-time.
So just to recap, Jabbar said wholesaling is something definitely you can do. He is like the joint venture, like everyone knows about him when it comes to joint venture in Philadelphia. We will put his info up at the end, add him on social media, definitely connect with him. But little note here is, don't ever get on a Zoom call with 1%. Definitely not a good sign, But we love Jabbar. He's a great man. All right, let's transition.
Listen,
here,
I had to plug it up real fast. I was on too. I had to run because the cord was too short.
We staying ready, baby. We staying ready. All right, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I wish Jabbar was able to share his story and where he's at. I've been able to do some wholesale deals with him, and he really is the epitome of what joint venture is. I know Stephanie mentioned it a lot, but I mean, if you guys don't know Jabbar, his education and helping you progress in this particular strategy is like one of the top in Philly, and he's just everywhere. If you really don't know him, you must be hiding under a rock or not going to the right places. And I encourage you guys being open to joint venturing, especially newbies who haven't done this before. I'm sure Jason, Steph, Elijah, myself, some of the things that we do is not necessarily we like doing it, but we had fun. We found our reason why, and you guys really need to listen and listen to why. This is what, when finding that, this is the reason that they take action and enjoy what they do. Having that why is really powerful. So you guys should really listen to their stories, take in consideration where they came from, and you don't have to enjoy it, but when you have that reason, your actions and stuff, your mentality just adjusts itself.
So real quick, January 23rd, the day that we have the real estate summit, Jabbar will be there. He will be speaking for a whole hour. So if you guys missed him today, even though we did get a little glimpse of him, he will be at the event on January 23rd, which you guys have the free link to down below. So and by the way, I see your guys' questions. I'm going to be pinning up all the questions at the end. We're going to have all the speakers answer your questions. So please keep your questions coming. We're going to pin those up here in the next few minutes and get those answered. So as we transition here, I'm curious, guys. So we heard a little bit about Stephanie's way for finding buyers, right? So her main thing is actually building relationships with buyers and then finding people who have contracts with sellers and then is able to, do some sort of joint venture or agreement with each other to split the fee. And her main way is to do that is with StreamYard, as well as the Facebook groups. Was great ways that she PropStream. Sorry. Thank you. PropStream and the Facebook groups when it comes to just networking with these buyers and building relationship and qualifying them. And so, Jason, I want to transition to you. How are you finding buyers? And then I have a hot question for both of you to answer. So, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah. So buyers, I'll be honest with you. I don't actively seek out.
Speak into the mic, Jason. I don't. It's like yeah, I don't know if something's blocked. We can hear you, but it's not like super clear.
Really? Let me see if I can.
There you go.
Try it.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Good.
All right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I don't actively seek out new buyers currently, just because, I mean, I've built the buyers list that I have pretty solid buyers now. But when I first started, pretty much what you guys are saying, I went to these meetings, I've talked to people. They said, hey, if you find something in Westchester, give me a call. I'm looking to buy. If you find something in 19125 Fishtown, I'm looking to buy. So it's just getting out there, networking with people, being on here today. I mean, as you guys said, we're all buyers. You guys are looking to buy. There's probably 40 people on the list. I don't know how many people are in this call right now, but there's buyers out there. What I've always said that is, if you get a good deal, the buyers will find you, to be honest with you. Especially with when I started, Facebook wasn't even a thing, the social media. Now you can put a deal out there and say, who's looking to buy in 19135. If the deal makes sense, you'll find buyers just by doing something like that. So I have to say it's a lot easier to find buyers today than it was when I first started. It's just, you just have to talk to people, get out there and just talk.
All right. So my hot question for both of you, with COVID, with the way that the market is right now, Stephanie, you still in here? Is she got? Jason, hot question for you, my brother. All right. With COVID, with the way that the market is right now, with how many people are just even interested in purchasing and the amount of people that are purchasing compared to the amount of inventory, what do you guys think is most important right now? Is it having the buyers, or is it having the sellers, having the contracts, having the deeply discounted properties? What do you guys find the more important? I know they're both important, but what do you guys find most important? If you had to choose one, do you think it's going to stay this way for a while?
I mean, I'll just go since I'm not muted yet, Steph, sorry. But I think the most important for me has always been and will continue to be to have the deal. Like I said, if you have deals, buyers are easy. They really are easy to find. If the deals are good deals and make sense, you can get them sold. I mean, for me today, if I have a deal in a certain area, I only need to make a couple phone calls, to be honest with you. But yeah, I would always say having the deals is first and foremost most important for me.
Steph, what about
Stephanie?
you?
What are your thoughts, Steph? Here we go. Bring the heat. Bring the heat.
I definitely would agree with Jason. Like I said, I'm more of a dispo. So I have an acquisitions manager. So, it's up to my acquisition manager to be able to bring in the leads and things like that. With, of course, still my help when I can help, but I'm more dispo. But I definitely do agree that when you have the deal, you have more control. Because sometimes buyers can randomly walk, especially during COVID. Especially, I know I was a buyer who walked the first. I had a deal, unfortunately, and when COVID hit, I was a little nervous, and I had backed out the deal because the hard money lenders started to put all these crazy terms on deals, and appraisals dropped by 10%. So in March, I actually had backed out of a really good deal. I want to kick myself in the face, because then come by June, I mean, I'm back at it, and I've done the most deals during COVID than I probably ever done. So yeah. I definitely agree that it's good I agree with Jason that it's good to be on the seller side. You should have the deal, have it under contract, and I'm a control freak, so it's great to be able to have control over the actual deal.
All right. You guys heard it here first, have the deals,
Now, just to that point real quick, not to say I won't take on new buyers if you guys are out there looking, once they put up our contact info. I'm always looking to add new guys, but, I won't shy away from that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like if you guys are interested in buying in Philadelphia, or even any questions over the markets, definitely touch base with all three of these beautiful beings. They will, I'm sure, glad to hop on a call or at least reply to your guys' messages. Okay. All right. So Sean, let's transition here.
Yeah. So I actually have a good question myself, and I'm always intrigued to know from you guys who are actively doing it. Well, how do you guys stay focused, with everything going on? Well, what's your mentality like to just keep digging at this? Because I know it's it's a lot of distraction going on right now.
Well, I see she's muted. So I will say COVID has been very tough because I have 3 daughters in school that are doing homeschool because our schools only went back a couple of days. So the distractions are definitely there. But if you want this to be your career and if you want this to be something, you just have to make it work. You just have to stay at it. That's all I can tell you. It goes back to that consistency thing.
Steph?
I was playing around here. You can take this phone back. I was playing around with someone's phone. Okay. Focus. I just hired an assistant. So that definitely helps to keep me more focused and aligned on my goals for 2021. So I hired her at the end of 2020 to be able to kickstart this year off. So being able to get my staff more in line, creating better systems. So getting systems for onboarding more virtual assistants, having my assistant to be able to help with some of those processes, because once again, I have about 6+ businesses within real estate. So to be able to create those systems, like being a landlord. So when I do walkthroughs, I have to take pictures. When I'm wholesaling, I need to be able to know, where I'm at for each buyer, for each seller within the process, from title companies to, getting the deal under contract to appointment setting. So being able to create systems whereas we can electronically go and see where we're at in each phase of my real estate projects, wholesale deals, agent deals, etc.
I love that. Yeah, staying focused right now is so critical. Really finding the time, dedicating the time that you need to put into place. This way you can really build something out great. And for those of you guys who are brand new and, maybe you haven't done your deal, maybe you've been at it for a few months. I'm sure both Jason, Steph, and Sean would agree, just keep at it, but start asking better questions more than anything, because it's one thing to continue down the same cycle that you are, but until you start surrounding yourself around people like these 3 guys right here and really asking, those hard questions, such as what are you doing wrong and what systems you need to put in place and, what do you need to do differently? These 3 people here are great people to connect with and just to really help you level up, whether you're brand new or even experienced and maybe you want to buy something in the Philadelphia area. Okay. So make sure you guys take advantage of that and truly reach out and get to know these guys on a deeper level. Okay. So we're going to transition here. I have 10 minutes left with you guys. I want to make sure we have, we get everything answered. So whatever questions you have, whether it's over title, whether it's over the contracts, whether it's over sourcing deals, finding buyers, any questions that you have whatsoever, post them in the comment section now. And by the way, if you guys have enjoyed this live, make sure you hit the like and share button for us. Okay, let's keep this party going. Let's get these questions rolling. First question from Fernando. What area codes are you guys targeting? Jason?
Yeah, so my marketing efforts, I do pretty much all zip codes in Philadelphia. I also hit Chester, Montgomery, and Delaware counties, the suburb areas, and then I hit South Jersey as well. So that's pretty much from Haddonfield kind of area down. So I mean, all zip codes in between those counties.
Yo, if you're in South Jersey, we got to connect because we're expanding into South Jersey right now. Because North Jersey's crazy. North Jersey's crazy.
Yeah, it's too far for me to go.
Yeah. Stephanie, what zip codes? What areas? What's your hot areas?
19121, 19144, 19119. My business partner loves Southwest West Philly. I feel like go for lots if you're in the West Philadelphia area. Yeah, that's just a few, and those are some good ones. So,
Sean, what about you?
To be honest, I reverse engineered a little bit. The buyers that I have, I just get an understanding of how their buying habits are in a particular area, and I just go to that area based off of where they purchased recently, and just market and target that little pocket because I know it's proven that they will repeat it. So, that's how I like to do it.
All right. Antonia asked, anybody using text campaigns?
Yes, I have. I love it.
All right. Talk about it real quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's many systems like Steph was saying, deal machine and stuff like that. But this one is particularly for texting, where instead of calling, you just load your list on there and you text one number at a time with the automation. I personally like it better because when you're doing a mass list, I don't like to build a report through the phone because it's too time consuming. I learned that if you just go direct, because I'm doing it in mass, hey Elijah, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? Through text, and you'll see it. And you're like, who's this? I just want to know if you're the owner. And they're like, yeah, I am. So by that, it just verified you are the owner of this house. And I'll just ask you the simple question: are you looking into selling? I find it just faster because, you know, when we're doing it and by the hundreds, 200, 300 people, I don't want to waste time. I'd rather just get an answer and know yes or next, you know.
Love it. Are you able to share the platform, or is that like?
Yeah, it's
reach out to you.
It's called leadsherpa.com.
What's it called?
Lead Sherpa. It's about $500 a month. So, hey, here guys, I'm about to drop a nugget on you. Grab 3 or 4 wholesalers, and you guys all go in and do it. You know, 5 wholesalers, that's $100 a person. I think it's well worth it to reach 100 to 200 people in a matter of a day to see if they want to sell their house, you know.
Love it. Stephanie, which text campaigns?
My business partner uses text campaigns. Like I said, I try to stay away from most of the lead generation stuff, but he does use it. He first started out with RVMs, but from my understanding through our business meetings, that he actually likes the text campaigns over the RVMs because he has found a better success rate for responses. Also, if anyone wants to use Lead Sherpa, you can see if this code is still valid to get in, because to get into Lead Sherpa, you have to, I believe, I don't know if they changed it, but 2 years ago or a year ago when I started with Lead Sherpa, they you had to get in through a monthly membership, like at that $500 mark. But if you use this code ELITE, if it's still available, you may be able to just get in, and you can text the owner. I think the owner's name is Jason. You can do like the contact us, and he may respond, or someone on his team, and just say like, hey, I had this code ELITE. Am I still able to join if you have any issues with joining Lead Sherpa? And you won't have to pay like the $500 a month to get in. And that you could just tell them you want to use it for skip tracing purposes. So
try it out. If it works, let me know. Message me on Facebook, and I'll see if I can share it.
That's how I got in.
Perfect. All right, Jason, are you running your wholesale operation yourself? Do you have any team, anyone that helps? And roughly how many deals are you guys doing a month or biannually?
Yeah, so I'm doing this primarily myself. I do have a guy who I partner with to kind of increase the number of direct mail pieces. He's mainly just a behind the scenes kind of guy. He kind of helped fund some of it. And he's actually one of my, depending what zip code he has first right of refusal on any deals that come in the areas he's looking for. So kind of a little thing there, but no, it's me. I do, like I said, I print, I stamp, I send all the postcards and letters myself. I field all the calls I can and go and do all the property walkthroughs directly. So now I do, as we said a lot here, I still do quite a bit of JVing as well. Jabbar, me and Jabbar have done a number of deals together. Sean and I have talked a couple. So yeah, I mean, but it is just me. And right now COVID, I've got a lot of leads coming in through COVID. I didn't get a bunch of, I had a couple deals closed, but on average, I'm doing anywhere between 2 to 5 deals a month on average.
That's great.
Question, are you using, when you say you got a lot of leads coming in, what are you using to be able to get your leads to come in? Like specifically, like, are you using any Facebook ads? Because that's something I was considering with my business partner when we had our top of the year meeting. So
I've tried Facebook ads, but I found that it gets costly because you have to, I've never really found out the best way to do Facebook ads. I've tried a couple here. I mean, I don't know if I wasn't doing a high enough dollar amount, hitting the right customer base. It hasn't worked for me. So mine's been direct mail and some cold calling I've started dabbling in. Which cold calling has been working, but again, it takes a lot of time to dial the numbers and find the phone numbers first with the skip tracing and then dialing. But a lot of direct mail. I'll find a lot of people I obviously have been home during COVID, so they're getting the mail, and I've been getting a lot of calls coming in.
Okay. I think that's where I'm kind of at in my business, not to get off topic,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to be able to have sellers coming into me. Right now, I do use other third-party services for being an agent where buyers come into me, but I want sellers.
Yeah.
And just like being an agent, it's easy. So.
Not to interrupt, but I was on Clubhouse, and there are a lot of people who specialize in Facebook ads, and I suggest hiring maybe a coach for that. That way you could just skip a lot of time.
Clubhouse is very addictive. I've been trying to stay off it for the last 3 weeks.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, let me transition here, guys. If you guys want to connect further after, please feel free. Akila says, Stephanie, you mentioned JV, and I know you answered it, but for anyone who didn't see it, do you mind explaining what JV is real quick?
So JV means to joint venture with someone. So joint venturing is when you partner with someone. So for example, I may, a lot of people can call it daisy chaining if you have a bunch of wholesalers, or let's say Sean and I just partner together. So I have a deal. Sean says, hey, Stephanie, I have a buyer. Now I can bring my own buyer and be like, all right, Sean, I don't got to give you no money. I got my own buyer. Or I can say, all right, Sean, come on into the deal. Let's work together and let's both make money, right? Sean loves to make money. I love to make money. He's my homie. We're going to work together on this deal. All right. So from there, that's now a joint venture where now 2 wholesalers are onto the deal. Now, Sean can tell me, yeah, Stephanie, I got a buyer, but come to find out he has a friend that's a wholesaler who has the buyer, and now there's 3 people. So now, it's kind of starting to become a daisy chain, but it's still a joint venture partnership.
Beautifully explained. All right, here's actually a pretty cool question. So it seems like the whole city is getting gentrified, and everyone knows it. So sellers are demanding crazy prices on some of the worst conditioned properties. It seems like it's extremely difficult to find deals with enough meat on the bone to wholesale, let alone to hold or flip them. How are you guys adjusting your numbers right now to reflect the current marketing conditions? Yeah, that's a great question. How are you? How are you guys valuing deals right now when it comes to wholesale properties?
So I can say that even with this wholesale bill that has come out in Philadelphia, it's interesting because I use comparative market analysis with being an agent, so I'm able to pull comps. What's really funny is that I bought a house for $33,000 that is worth about $300,000+ after repair value. I bought this like a couple months ago. So what's crazy is that with this new bill that's coming out, they're saying that I need to properly notify and disclose how much this house is worth. So technically, I had this $33,000 house appraised, and the appraiser appraised it at $28,000. I could do these deals all day. If the city wants to basically tell that, wholesalers have to, do their due diligence as well as to give the sellers the proper, notice on their value, the appraiser, what better way than to get an appraiser to appraise deals? What's so funny is that in these sections of Philadelphia, in these hot areas, still the as is value is the as is value. However, that same block, something sold for $20,000 and something sold for $70,000. So technically, I could pull the 3 lowest comps and say, "Hey, seller, bring a seller's packet, guys." So within the seller's packet, you can do, if you want to get fancy, talk about the neighborhood. You can have a little description of the neighborhood, comps that are in the area. Remind you now, this is all part of hopefully your disclosure package to the seller for them to sign off on that disclosure that you've given them what's the comps in the area. And you can it could be 5 different houses in that same area. Some have gone for $400 and some have gone for $20,000. So this area is hot. Philadelphia is a really hot area, but comps are really tricky because it can go either way. And it's crazy because, like I said, this house, I bought it for $33,000. Appraisal came in at $28,000, but I just had an after repair value appraisal. And this is a 2-story, 3-bedroom house, 1 shell. And it's going to be worth, I'm putting 100-something thousand into it, and it's going to be worth like 300,000. Well, plus, but I'm being modest.
Yeah, first of all, those numbers are great. So, Stephanie, let me ask you, what is a borderline deal for you when it comes to wholesaling? So, like for an example, let's say it's worth 150,000, and the rehab on it is 30,000. Like, what's a number that you would feel comfortable with going under contract with on that to know that you can wholesale it and still make a profit? Like, is there a certain amount of profit that you need to make per deal? Is it like based off ARV? Like, how are you typically valuing? Other than like $100,000 spread.
Like I don't want to do deals that I'm only going to make 20,000 off of it because I'm putting my blood, like I said, I'm a licensed contractor. I have to manage teams and I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into it. So if I'm in a deal, worst case scenario, 6 months, $20,000 is not going to cut it on the back end. Like I said, this deal that I just did in Jersey, I made $64,000. It was a pretty good deal. The deal that I'm doing in the Brewery Town, the $33,000 I just bought for, it's going to be a good deal. I'm starting off a little late because I am going to hopefully go up a level. But some rules have changed, kind of Strawberry Mansion, 19121. It's like Brewery Town, hopefully not Strawberry Mansion. So I'm still investigating that. But 65% of the after repair value, when you're wholesaling, it's called an MAOW. So for investors, we go off of the MAO, which is the maximum allowable offer. For wholesalers, MAOW, maximum allowable offers for wholesalers. I go off of 65%. Some investors say it's a 70% rule. So if I'm all in at 195, like you said, Elijah, I can't answer that because you said purchase price. The ARV would have to be like around 275-ish because all of my closing costs, agent fees, what were my buying costs as well as closing costs, I would have to consider. So maybe like 300.
Yeah, you answered the question. Great, that's good. Jason, what about for you? What's your criteria in terms of yes, we'll do this deal, and no, absolutely not, won't do this deal for wholesaling?
Right. Yeah. So I will say, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing, but I know a lot of wholesalers out there don't want to do a deal unless they can make 10,000 plus on a fee. Honestly, if I can make 2,500, I mean, I shoot for more, but if I can make 2,500 a deal and get the deal done, why would I not do that? I've done deals for $500 before just to get it closed. That's not the norm, or at least I don't shoot for that. But I use a $500 to $7,500 kind of wholesale fee as like my parameter. If I can make a deal work for that and make the deal work, I do it. I don't do every deal. I don't use a formula like this, take 70% of ARV minus repairs, and that's my offer. I know my buyers, so I know what they're willing to pay in a certain area. So if I can make, and I know that they can kind of tweak their rehab numbers up and down. I will say the one thing that we haven't really gotten into just because of time, but as a wholesaler, you really need to have a good understanding of what a renovation costs to run your numbers. That's probably the biggest X factor, or it is the biggest X factor in all these deals that we do. You don't need to know down to the penny, but you need to know that it's not to renovate a full house from top to bottom, shell condition is not going to cost $40,000. I will say a lot of newbie wholesalers come in, they will give an offer to a seller just to get a deal under contract and not be able to sell it. That's what I think somebody put it in here, that the market being saturated with wholesalers. I don't really worry about them because I know when I run my numbers, the numbers are going to make sense and I can get the deal sold. The one thing, the investors and the rehabbers that we're selling to, they know the numbers and they're going to see that your deals are absolutely ridiculous when you tell them it's a $40,000 rehab, when in reality it's $115,000. So I will say, if the one thing I can say is learn what renovation costs are. You don't need to be exact, but you have to be pretty darn good. And that's one of the reasons why I get so many repeat buyers, because they realize that my numbers are pretty close to what they end up being. Now, obviously, we can't account for everything, but I do put in a buffer when I run my numbers in my deals.
So real quick, and I'm going to have this be the last question. I know some of you guys are asking specific questions for Stephanie or a specific question for Jason. I'm getting ready to give you guys their information, their contact information. So please feel free to reach out to them and follow up with them after this call. But someone asked, how do you stand out in kind of today's market? And I think really understanding like the rehab and the construction aspect of it is so critical and important. So I'd love to just kind of hear your guys' feedback, maybe in a minute or two in terms of, how should someone go about with learning construction? And I know it will take time and sacrifice and all that, but just to get that started, how would you guys recommend someone really goes and, learns construction so that when they go into a property, they can analyze it and truly know what they're getting ready to walk into, know the risk? We'll start with Stephanie for this.
Yep.
I learned actually from being in the field with my rehabs. Like I said, wholesaling wasn't my first thing. But there are classes that are out here that you can learn the construction budgets. What I will say is that, guys, if you want to scope of work done, I do charge to come out if you're in the Philly area, but you can definitely DM me. I'll give you a free resource right now. If you go to my website, www.wakeupinvestments.com, you can see an example of what a scope of work looks like. But you need to start to learn your numbers, talk to maybe a contractor, but you can't overutilize them because contractors aren't going to want to come out if you're not actually giving them the job. So that's why I do charge for a scope of work. But yeah, I have a free scope of work example on my website. So www.wakeupinvestments.com. And then you go to like resources, RE resources or free RE resources. You'll see a lot of things on there.
Can you hear that?
I'm sorry. I spelled that right. Stephanie, the website,
wakeupinvestments.com.
All right, guys. By the way, that's Stephanie's information. We're gonna get final words from them, so this will be back up in a second. All right. Jason, what are your thoughts on construction? How should we learn it? By the way, that scope of work thing. Make sure you guys take advantage of that.
That's definitely key to see what a scope of work actually looks like. And for you guys, I definitely would reach out to Stephanie for that. I learned it on the fly. Like I said, we did our first rehab, and I learned cost pretty quickly just by doing it. But honestly, feel free to reach out to me, Stephanie, Sean. I mean, we all can kind of walk you through. I'd be happy to have you join me on walkthroughs to show you hey, this is what this is going to cost. Here's what the full rehab number is going to be, or close to. But again, just get out there. Like Stephanie said, though, you want to be careful asking contractors. They're busy as ever anyway. They probably won't even be able to do it for you, especially if they know they're not getting any work from you. I've learned that as well the hard way. Having a couple of guys I knew come out and just give me estimates. But yeah, I mean, I would reach out to people that are actually doing rehabs and just pick their brains.
Mm-hmm.
It's simpler than that. Go ahead, Sean.
Something that I did to understand this as well was I just walked developing neighborhoods, and if there was a rehab going on, I'll just knock up and say, hey, is the owner here? A lot of times they're not, and is the head contractor here, the GC? And I'll just make a vibrant, radiant connection with them, like, oh, can I come in and check it out? And I just let him be the professional and tell me, how much do you charge for something like this? Because I'm looking to do something. And they really help educate you in a open way where it's not like, they're trying to give you a quote on something and make dollars. They're actually just telling you what they're doing in this business space, So just a little nugget.
Yep, that is spot on there. Love all that feedback. All right, guys, so we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been such an amazing time. We've literally spent 2 hours with each other, which is absolutely amazing. 2 hours of wholesale education and just learning. You get to hear from people out here in the field. So Jason and Stephanie, we definitely want to say thank you guys, and we want people to reach out to you. So, what's going to be the best way to get in touch with you guys? You guys want to tag your info here? We'll start off with Jason. Oh, it's down below, by the way. But Jason, you can go ahead and say it.
that is my direct cell phone. As I said, I put on all my mail and reach out, email, call. Ask Sean. Sean reached out to me. We met up for lunch, and I'm more than happy to meet with you guys and show you the ropes, and maybe we can do some deals together.
Do some deals together. That's 484-467-6288. You heard it here first. 484-467-6288. Reach out to my man Jason. Jason, it's been an honor. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. I can't believe it's times flew like it did. We barely got into a lot of the content. So
yeah, right. I told you we'd have fun.
All right, and Stephanie, the IG queen, come on, give it to us.
All right, guys. As you know, it's Stephanie, and at My Life is Real Estate on IG, and you can DM me there, and I'll do my best to get back to all of your questions. You can go once again to my website, www.wakeupinvestments.com, to be able to get your free resources.
And multitasking is so bad. Sean, do your thing, bro. Say your info.
Oh, okay. So I'm mainly on Facebook, Sean Radiant Sun, straightforward, spelled SEAN. Oh, you got it. You got everything. My Instagram is Sean.realestate. So yeah, guys, I'm always on social media. I love connecting, and I look forward to connecting with all of you guys.
All right, Sean, take care of the outro. By the way, I'm posting their info in the comment section, so you guys can make sure you get it from there as well in the comment section. So Sean, take care of the outro. Close this out. Let's go.
All right, guys, it's 8:48, and I want to thank you all for being on here. It shows that you guys are in a mental state to be around those that are winning. And this space right here is really for you guys to learn, to come get the information you need, ask the right questions to make real estate happen for you, and keep coming, keep sharing. And, I look forward to speaking with all you guys, hopefully one day where you become a panelist and I get to hear about your amazing stories and your amazing deals and all your wholesaling success that's about to come. And guys, reminder, January 23rd. So right now it's free. Get your tickets, baby. Get your tickets and stay radiant.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. Jason, Stephanie, once again, thank you guys for your time. All right. We out of here. We'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.
All right. All right, the info's been posted. Let's end this.